Go ahead, Mayor Aaron. Open up your last present for Jillmas.
My goodness, I thought you'd never say anything. I've been staring at this thing all day. Oh, what is it? Oh my gosh. Thunder Rosa Unrivaled Series 9 Chase? One that I can open and review? Oh, what a surprise!
You sure you're surprised? I feel like you knew this gift was coming.
Huh? Why would you think that?
Your face, Mayor Aaron. Your face.
No, you see, this is actually purely coincidence. Because according to my watch, that I don't own, today is Friday. And you know what every Friday is here in LumberJillville?
No.
What you're going to learn today, you see every Friday here in LumberJillville, is Thunder Rosa Face Paint Friday. Isn't that right, Dexy? See, Dexy knows what's up. But this chase, I love it, don't get me wrong. But this brings up a lot of memories involving you. And they're not good memories.
Oh, you mean when I turned heel on you and ruined this same chase months ago? I know that, and that's why I got you another one, to make up for my wrongdoings.
Wow, really? That means a lot to me, and this figure means a lot to me. I mean, Thunder Rosa this past year was the first women's wrestler to ever appear in a LumberJillville video. Now that's a goal that I have set of mine since day one of the channel, and I didn't know if I'd ever accomplish it. But thanks to her, taking the time out of her busy schedule, she made a goal of mine be able to be checked off. You know, not only am I a huge fan of Thunder Rosa and I'm always going to support her career, but she's definitely special to me.
And that's why I knew it would be the perfect Jillmas present for you.
Thank you. You know what? Not only am I going to open up and review this chase, I'm going to open up and review my 1 of 3,000 Unmatched 7 Thunder Rosa Rare. Now, I really didn't want to open it, but here's the deal. The main goal here in LumberJillville is to raise the respect level of women's wrestling figures in the collecting community. And we need to spread that love. We need to show the world how awesome these women's wrestling figures are. And what good is it MOC, right? So I say let's open that up and review it along with this chase. I could always get another one of those. And by the way, I think you repented all your wrongdoings you've done to me. Merry Jillmas, Co-Mayor Alexa.
Merry Jillmas, Mayor Aaron. Now quit the mushy crap and review the figures.
All right, bring it in for a hug.
Huh?
Huh?
What?
What?
Do you want me to kick you in the face through a wall again?
Well, yeah, I kind of slipped through that wall after you kicked me in the face, but you know, it's all good. I'll wait on that hug. I'll just grab my figures and get started. Hey y'all, welcome to LumberJillville, and Merry Jillmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy whatever you celebrate. I just wanted to make a video today that was very sentimental from the heart and special to me because it's a special time of the year. So I hope y'all are having a safe and happy holiday season. Now, with that being said, make sure to subscribe to LumberJillville to get a first look at all future women's wrestling figure reviews like today's very special, as I mentioned, video today where I'm going to unbox and review the Thunder Rosa Chase and Rare. That's right, Unrivaled Series 9 Chase and Unmatched Series 7 Rare. Now, I wanted to keep this one MOC and order another one to open up, but here's the deal. It's Christmas time. It's Jillmas time. I really want to open it up and get a in-depth, close look at it and share it with all of y'all. So I'm excited to open up two pretty hard to find figures today, compare them to the regular releases, and then put them side by side with each other and see how they stack up. So with that being said, let's start off with the Unrivaled Series 9 Chase. Alright, so let's start off with Unrivaled Series 9 Chase out of 5,000. Now this one really stands out. It really does pop. It's completely different from the regular release, which we will do a side-by-side comparison here in a second, but I just wanted to show you what that Chase packaging looks like. Now, this one's pretty easy to spot, whether it's the Chase or the regular version, because not only do we have that red sticker that says Chase 1 of 5,000, we have that red number in the corner, red on the side, and what really stands out is the figure is completely unique, completely different. Different attire, different color, different face paint. It's awesome. So the attire is in a blue, and on the front of the package we have a picture to indicate that. And on the back, we have an image of Thunder Rosa. Now, I have to say, I think both of these chases, or the Rare and the Chase, I think the dates on the back of the package are actually correct. And Jazz Wars is a hit or a miss as far as the date on the back of the package, but I think they are actually accurate, so we'll get that in a second. So, and then there's the whole line here. So, looking at this packaging, let's compare it to the regular release. So, the regular release, as I mentioned, is way, way different. She's in a black attire, she's posed differently, and obviously the images are different on the front, and then on the back, they are different. Now, we do have this really almost hideous Upper Deck card logo on both, because yes, this does come with a pack of the AEW Upper Deck cards. They are yellow, I believe. I might open it up and hopefully get a Thunder Rosa out of it. Yeah, I think we are going to open that up. Why not? Why not? So yeah, I wanted to show you the differences here, and this one is an excellent figure. It really is. I think it's great, and we will do, once I open this up, we'll do a side-by-side of these figures loose so you can see the main differences and compare them. But yeah, I just wanted to show you what they look like MOC next to each other. Now, with that being said, I am going to open this up, and let's take a closer look. So the one thing I am going to note is I do have one of these that is MOC. It's in the background where I sit in my videos, and that one's always going to stay MOC because that was given to me by my good buddy Chad over at Rowdy Rider Reviews and Rider. Go check them out if you haven't. And I am going to cut the tape here on the side. I'm sure there's a better way to do that, but you know what? YOLO, you know? Okay, so we got that side, and then I'm going to very carefully peel this back and then shimmy the figure out. So we'll be back. AEW Unrivaled Series 9 Thunder Rosa Chase Edition out of 5,000. This attire is from AEW Revolution 2021, which took place on March 7th. On this night, the team of Dr. Britt Baker and Maki Ito would defeat the team of Thunder Rosa and Riho. Alright, so my first impressions of this figure, I mean, they're really, really cool. And you could tell just by looking at it, even when it's MOC, that it really does stand out. It really does pop. It is so unique and different from all her other figures. And I love it. I'm really glad we're reviewing it today. So I really love the blue. I think it pops. It even has like a little special coat on it, it looks like. Which when we get to that part where we take a look at the attire, we'll take a close look at it. But my first impressions are really good. I love this figure. It has to be one of my favorite chases out there. If not my favorite chase. Maybe I'm a little biased, but I digress. So what's cool about this one that didn't come with that regular version is this really cool soft goods flag. Now it is kind of creased here, and it's creased because it was folded up and packaged with a band around it. So those creases might iron out. I don't know. This seems like a pretty delicate material, but the flag is really cool, little USA Mexican combination flag. And she's had, now, this is the third flag I think I've shown of her figures. That Blood and Guts, and also the regular version of the Unmatched figure came with a flag. And they're each different, which is really cool. So this is really unique, really cool how it's set up, and I absolutely love it. Now, as far as the accessories, she comes with 2 open hands. She comes with 2 fist hands. And then she comes with 2 hands of her signature pose here. Now, what's really cool, kind of bizarre, I need to look up and see if that's accurate, is the middle 2 nails on her right hand are painted white, but they aren't on her left hand, and none of the other nails are painted white. Let's take a look at her hands here. Okay, that's bizarre. So there's no white fingernail polish on the hands that come with it. So only 2 fingers of all her hands have white nail polish, which is a little bizarre, but it might be accurate. I'm not sure. I'll have to check out the source material. Now, with that being said, let's take a closer look at the face sculpt, face scan, and hair. Alright, so to start off with the head here, we are going to take a look at this little hair piece that sits on top of her head. She has a piece that also comes with the regular release of this, but it's drastically different in sculpt, which I'll show you here in a couple minutes. So taking a closer look at this, it just sits on top of her head, and it actually sits pretty nicely. Now, it's got a lot of really bright paint, and let me move that. Okay, so yeah, it's got a lot of really bright paint. We see the rose there, and we see even some metallic blues and some reds, and I think that's a really cool addition, and it does sit pretty nicely on top of her head. It doesn't fall off. Not quite as easily as that kind of crown looking thing that comes with the regular release. So, alright, taking a look at the face sculpt, face scan, and hair sculpt. The hair sculpt, I believe, is the exact same. It is a lightish type brown. I think it should have been a little bit darker, but it's really not bad. I think it works well. Now, as far as the face sculpt goes, this is a different sculpt than the regular version. The regular version has a more aggressive sculpt, which I actually love, and this is a more, I don't know, serious type sculpt, and I think it works just fine. I think it's cool that we did get a different face sculpt. And I think that's cool when the chases and the rares have different face sculpts and scans compared to the regular release. I think that shows a lot of effort. So here we do have a different sculpt. It's kind of a serious look. I don't think I prefer it over that aggressive one that came in the regular line release, but I think it looks really good, and it looks just like her. I think it's great. Also, the face paint is really unique and obviously different than that regular release, and I think that's where it really shines. There's a lot of intricate detail in this face paint. And we got a lot of blues, we got some black lines, and it's applied there really, really good. So I absolutely love that. She even has the dark lipstick on. So yeah, as far as the face sculpt, face scan, and hair sculpt goes, I think it's awesome. Definitely a cool alternative to that regular release. Alright, so moving on to the body sculpt and the attire. Now, I've said this, and I stand by this statement, that I think AEW Jazzwares, most of the time, does such a fantastic, tremendous job of the body sculpts and the part choices. They really do a great job of making them unique and making them really look like the female wrestler that they're based off of. And I love that they give them, for the most part, they give them their own little personalized details and sculpts and body parts. I just think that's excellent. And here, it looks great. Looks really, really cool. I think it does a great job of simulating Thunder Rosa here. From the front all the way to the back, they do an excellent job with the part choices and the sculpting. Now, if we're taking a closer look at the sculpting as far as the attire goes, zooming in here, we have a little bit of a sculpting on that top collar there, and we have some folds sculpted on the top to simulate some type of fabric. We also have a sculpt over on the shoulder to simulate that it's sleeveless. And the paint here is, it's hard to explain. It's not a glittery light blue base, but it has like a little bit of a glitter type pattern to it. Let me try to really zoom in. Do you see that? It's not like a sparkly glittery, but it's got some kind of pattern to it that makes it unique, and I just really love it. I think it pops. I think it's really, really cool, whatever kind that they used. And on top of that here, we have this Thunderbolt that is a different color blue, almost like a bluish green. I'm colorblind. I'll try. And that's also metallic, and that is also painted on her right arm. Now, the right arm has a sleeve painted all the way down. Really cool. On the back, we have some folds sculpted on to simulate that attire. Very nice. And on the bottoms, we even have some sculpted folds on the back to simulate that there's a fabric back there. I know that sounds stupid, but a lot of times, especially with Mattel, they just paint over the body and say, oh, that's fabric. There we go. And I love how they have little sculpted details here and a lot of the Jazzwares figures. Now, what's cool is we have the serpent head, the snake head here on the side of her bottoms with red eyes. Now, what's really interesting is it looks like this, at least this midsection piece was cast in that blue color, because you can see right there that blue is the base color, and then they just painted the flesh tone on top, but I think it works fine. It's only noticeable if you look real close at this line here, and you can see that it's blue, but I think they do a good job here. I think it works just fine. We have that tattoo detail on the thigh. Looks really cool. There's some color in there. We have a little bit of orange, and then we have some red, but that's a really cool detail. Looks really, really nice. We have these knee pads that are part of the sculpt, which allows a lot of movement. And on the right side here, we have that Thunderbolt going down all the way onto the kick pads. And on the other side, we have that snake or that serpent that kind of wraps itself around there in design, and that's really cool. And what's really, really cool, it's a little detail, but the little details go a long way for me, is you can see that the base boot color is gold. You know, they have the kick pad and the sleeves, this blue, and then we have the gold underneath that gets a gold boot underneath. And that is such a little detail, but it really stands out and pops. I absolutely love that they did that. I think that's really, really cool. So yeah, I think the body sculpt and the attire is fantastic. So now let's do a little side-by-side comparison. On the left, we have the regular version of that Unrivaled Series 9, and on the right, we have that chase we're looking at today. And as you can see, they are drastically different figures from head to toe, and I think that's awesome. I wish more chases and rares were like that, because I think this is a perfect example of how you could really make that chase or really make that rare special. So looking at that regular release, as I mentioned, the headpiece is very similar but very different at the same time. It's very unique. It's got little skulls sculpted on the top there, and it has a mix of metallic gold and black. I just think that really stands out. Super awesome. Doesn't really stay on her head too well compared to the other thing, but it's cool. We have that same hair sculpt, but as I mentioned, that face is more aggressive, and I really actually love this aggressive face sculpt. I think it works great. Might be my favorite, actually. And the face paint's different, as you can see. Now, what's really cool is the face paint even comes down onto her chest a little bit, which is a nice detail. And she also comes with this plastic vest here. It's got tassel sculpted on. Now, this should be La Mera Mera, but I think I'm missing an A there. But this thing is really cool, and it comes off really easily, which makes it even more cool. Now, I'm just briefly going through this figure because I did do a full review, so check it out on the channel if you haven't seen it. But you can see here that her attire here is black silver with little gold accents. And yeah, so as you can see, the attires are very different. The body sculpt is the same, but what we have here for looking at the differences is the accessories, the face, and the attire. So which one do I prefer if I had to choose one? That's tough in my opinion. I would choose both of them. I think both of these are must-haves in your collection if you're a Thunder Rosa fan or supporter like I am. I just think they're really, really cool. But yeah, don't sleep on the regular version of Unrivaled 9, because you can even find this in Walmarts or Targets now, like a year or so after it's been released. It's out there on some peg, so I would scoop it up because it's a fantastic figure with a lot of detail and a lot of love that went into it. All right, bonus segment. Let's open up this pack of cards and see what we got. Now, usually I don't have the best luck with these cards, so let's see who we have. Hopefully we get some women's wrestlers in here. All right, we got Jon Moxley. Sheeta, that's a cool one. And then Mark Quinn. So, all right, on to the rare. All right, so here's the main event in my opinion. Now, this is limited out of 3,000. This is the rare edition. I got this in that AEW mystery box from ringsidecollectibles.com. I got very lucky, so this figure means a lot to me. I really didn't want to open it, but here's the deal. As I mentioned before, I'm here to show you how awesome these figures are and to review them. So if I'm not reviewing them, what am I doing? So I'll order another one to keep MOC, but we are going to open this one up and take a closer look and see how it is, and also compare it to the regular release of the Unmatched 7 figure. So looking at the packaging here, it's awesome. I love it. I love that gold 1 of 3,000 sticker. I think that's so classy. And what's cool is with the rares compared to the chases, not only is the figure number gold, but the series number is also gold. So that makes it feel a little extra special. And on the front, we have an image of the beautiful Thunder Rosa, who is not in the attire that this figure is based off of. So that's a weird decision. Not even the same face paint. So I don't know why they put that on the front. They've done that before, like that Britt Baker, what is that, Unrivaled 10? That chase version also has an image on the front of the package that isn't what the figure depicts. So that's a little bizarre, but as we can see here in a nice open window, we have a couple heads there. We have the figure. It looks really, really cool. I'm so stoked to open this up, y'all. Now, looking at the back, there we go. There's the attire that the figure is based off of. There it is, and that's super, super cool. And what's cool is that date is once again accurate. So way to go, Jazzwares. They are 2 for 2 as far as the chase and the rare figures and that date in the back of the package, and I think that's really, really neat there. And then we have the rest of the line. So with that being said, let's do a little side-by-side with the regular version of Unmatched 7, which this figure, when I reviewed it, is the review that Thunder Rosa was in the beginning. You know, I reached out to her and she wanted to be a part of the channel, and she sent me some things, and we did some work and made some magic on the channel, so it really meant a lot to me, as I mentioned before, that she was a part of this figure review. So this figure is so sentimental to me because she was in that review, and I love it. But as you can see here, they are two drastically different figures. Just like the Chase in the regular from the Unrivaled line, these two are very, very different. This time around, the regular version actually comes with a flag. And as you can see here, they both come with the same amount of extra hands. And we have the same alternate heads. However, the face paint is obviously going to be different, which we'll take a look at a little bit later. The image on the front of the package is also different. And even on this figure, this is not the attire that the figure's based off of, so that's really weird. And then on the back, obviously, we can see that they are different as far as the images they used, but the images on the back of the package are what the figure's based off of, so that's really, really cool. So that being said, let's open up this rare. This is something that I was really not going to do. However, like I mentioned, we are here to show the world how awesome these figures are. So let me find my scissors here. Got him. Okay, we got the scissors. We're going to open this up. And, you know, truthfully, I have another one that should be on its way that I was going to open and review and keep the ringside one MOC, but I couldn't risk not opening it in time. And like I said, this is my priority. You know, reviewing these figures and showing you how awesome they are is my absolute priority. And that's what we are going to do. So I haven't cut my hand open yet, so that's a good start, y'all. And then we are just going to, oh, this kind of pains me, but that's okay. We have another one that will be here eventually. Okay. Frick. All right, I'm actually going to be really careful opening this, so we will be back. AEW Unmatched Series 7 Thunder Rosa Rare Edition out of 3,000. This attire is from the February 3rd, 2021 edition of AEW Dynamite titled Beach Break. On this night, Dr. Britt Baker would defeat Thunder Rosa in a singles match, thanks to Rebel's interference. Alright, so my first impressions of this figure, I mean, I'm smiling ear to ear. I'm so glad that I opened this up to review it for all of y'all because this figure's so cool. And when I first saw images of this and the regular version, I think they mislabeled them on ringside or at least the announcement. And this was titled as the regular version and the Lightning Bolt one was the rare. However, they got a little mixed up and this is obviously the rare version, the other one's the regular version, and I was a little disappointed because it's not been easy for me to come by rares or chases, and I really wanted this figure because I think the attire is super, super cool. I think it just pops and it looks beautiful. Really cool. So as far as accessories go, we have an alternate head that I absolutely love that we are going to pop this head off and put this one on in the next segment here because I love the tongue out. That emotion, that expression is super cool. And then she comes packaged with open hands, but we also have two fist hands. And then we have two hands with their signature pose, so that's really cool. And yeah, we don't get a flag like we do in the regular release, but that is okay. So now let's take a closer look at the face sculpt, face scan, and hair sculpt. And we'll look at both heads. Alright, so looking at the face and the hair sculpt is actually completely different than the regular release, which is really cool. And I'll do a little side-by-side segment here after we cover the body sculpt and the attire. But the hair sculpt is different, which I love. I think this hair sculpt's cool. We have like a bun on top there. It's even got a little bit kind of sticking out there, a little curl. And then going on the back, look how curly that is. I just think that looks awesome. I do think it should be a little bit darker, but maybe it's just me. It really isn't that big of a deal, but I do think it should be a little darker. Now, the face is a more serious type sculpt and scan, and I'm not a huge fan of this. You know, talking about the regular version too, I wasn't a huge fan of it. Something looks off about it, in my opinion. Something isn't exactly as detailed as her sculpts and scans from before, so I'm not a huge fan of the sculpt itself. Now, as far as the face paint goes, I love it. I think it's amazing. If you look real close at it, let's see here. We got a little mix of reds and a little bit, is that blue or purple? Can't tell. But we have a lot of different colors, and we even have a little green around her chin. So we have so many different little intricate designs and paint applications on this face. I just think that's awesome. It really stands out. It looks absolutely beautiful. Now, what I'm going to do is we have this alternate head. There we go. That was creepy how it just kind of, okay. We're going to pop this head off, put this head on, and take a look at the alternate head. All right, so this is the sculpt that I prefer. I love this. I love the tongue out sculpt. I love the emotion, the expression. I absolutely think it's awesome. And yeah, this is definitely the head that I would go with. So I'm really not going to use this one that came with the figure, as we couldn't even see it there. But yeah, the face paint, as you can see, is the same, but this time we have her tongue out. And there's nice little details, such as the teeth. The teeth are nicely sculpted and painted. I know that sounds crazy, but there's been wrestling figures in the past where they tried to perform the open mouth, tongue out, and it just didn't come out well in execution. So here, I think it does look great. I think they did a great job. The hair is the exact same, but as I mentioned, this is definitely the head in the face that I prefer because I love the emotion here. Now let's move on to the body sculpt and the attire. So just like her previous figures, the body part choices in the body sculpt here are all pretty flawless. I think they're fantastic. They did a great job with their choices, and there's a lot of intricate detailing here. Now, this figure has mostly intricate detail in the paint application, as I'll show you, as compared to the sculpt, and I think that is awesome. So if we're taking a closer look at this top here, as you can see, it is a white base color. Now, the actual white top in real life was kind of like a pearlescent, like a shiny white. And here it is just a solid, kind of a matte type white. Then we have TR in this black font with a gold outline. This top has a gold trim around it with the blue trim around the bottom here. We have a nice, really cool looking Day of the Dead skull on the back of her top. That is so cool. Super awesome detail. And then she has these little wrist, almost gauntlets that are gold with the Thunderbolt on there and blue trim around those. And on the left side, we have that Day of the Dead skull, which is really cool, very intricately painted. Moving down to her bottoms here, we have these blue base bottoms with gold trim going around. And on the back side here, we have Thunder Chola. That's very cool. I would have never guessed that's what it said back here. That is super, super cool. Wow, that is great. Google that if you're not sure what Chola is. But that is such a cool detail that I had no idea this figure had, obviously, because I didn't open it until right now. But yeah, that is super cool. And then we have her thigh tattoo there. Really nice detailing. And then moving on down, we do have these sculpted on knee pads that aren't removable, but they do allow for maximum flexion, and they're decorated really nice. On the right side, we have this red rose with a green stem there, and then on the left side, we have this gold thunderbolt with the black trim. And going down to the kick pads and boots, we have TR in that really cool gold font with a black trim. And then the kick pads are all red with gold trim on the kick pads. And then we have a little bit of blue underneath there, simulating a blue boot underneath the kick pads. So that's really cool. So yeah, as far as the body sculpt goes, amazing. The attire, I just wish the white was like a pearlescent type white, like had a little bit of a shine to it to make it a little more accurate. But either way, I think it works good. But what really stands out about this attire is on the backside, how it says Thunder Chola. That is so cool and such a cool little detail. Alright, so on the left, we have the regular line release of Unmatched Series 7, and on the right, we obviously have that rare from Unmatched Series 7. Now, I highly recommend you go watch my figure review of this Unmatched 7 Thunder Rosa. That's where she made an appearance. It's very special to me, and that's where I really give an in-depth breakdown of this figure. Just comparing them side to side here, you can see that they're drastically different, not only in the attire choices, but the coloration and even the heads. Now, the faces are very similar in theory. These are the tongue out faces. Now, it does come with a regular face as well. But the hair sculpt, as you can see on this rare, has the one bun on top, whereas the regular line release has two. So the hair sculpt is different in that sense. And then moving around to the back, yeah, you can see that it is a little bit different in sculpt. So it looks like this rare has a completely unique sculpt as far as the hair goes, and that's really, really cool. But the face sculpt itself is, actually, it does look a little different if you look at the scanning technique. Let's zoom in a little bit. So maybe it's how the scan was printed on, but it does look a little bit different. You know, I had a little trouble with the regular line release. It looked a little lifeless in both scans. Like the eyes might have been a little too much, a little too big, maybe too much white was showing in the eyeball itself. but it doesn't look like that in this rare version. And yeah, it actually looks a lot better in my opinion. So yeah, I guess the sculpts are the same, but the paint application or that 3D print scan, whatever you want to call it, looks to be a little bit different between these two figures. And I actually much prefer this rare version because the eye doesn't look lifeless like the eyes do over here. And I'll give it a second and let you look at those and see if you can see what I'm talking about there. But yeah, so the figures themselves, like I said, drastically different, and that was really actually cool getting a close look at the face sculpts and scans and seeing that the scan does appear to be a little different too. So yeah, I definitely think that just like the Chase and the regular version of the Unrivaled 9, go for both of these. They're both so unique, so different, and I think they're both worth picking up. Alright, so if we're going to compare these side by side, I love them both. I love them both in their own unique ways, but if I had to pick a favorite, and this might actually be my favorite Thunder Rosa figure, period, it's that rare out of 3000. I just think it really stands out. I love the red, the white, the blue, the gold trim. I love that expressionate face sculpt, and I even love that unique hair sculpt. I think it's really, really cool. I love how aggressive it looks. Now, don't get me wrong, I think this Chase is good, and this was, you know, released about a year and a half, close to 2 years before this rare, so it was early in her figures, and I think they did a fine job here with the Chase. I love how different it is. I love the blue attire, the inclusion of the flag. That little piece on the head there is really cool, but if I had to choose one that's my favorite, it would definitely be the rare, but I love these both. Alright, so usually this part of the video, I give an overall score, but I have a hard time with Chases and Rares because they are hard to come by. Not everybody can get them, not everyone can find them, so I'm not really going to give these two scores, but I am going to say that they are both absolutely amazing figures, and I 100% recommend that you go out and get these. Now, I will say this Chase figure, you can get online about $50 MOC, which is a pretty good deal, so I would go and try to find that. And as far as the rare version goes, it's a little higher. It'll set you back about $80 MOC at the time of this video, but maybe wait a little bit as more pop up, the price might go down. But I definitely think they are worth the money. If you're comfortable with spending that, if you get some extra Christmas cash, I would definitely go out of your way to get these figures. Now, to me, I can't give them a score number-wise. I can just say that they are both very special, very sentimental to me. I just made a Thunder Rosa shelf in LumberJillville in the background over in the corner there for all of her figures and some of her cards and whatnot because, as I mentioned, she's very special to me. She was the first women's wrestler to appear in LumberJillville. She did it all on her own. You know, I reached out to her and she was so kind, so sweet, and made this YouTuber's dream come true. And I really hope to work with her more in the future because I don't know if she understands how special that was to me. So, #1 fan, Mayor Aaron for Thunder Rosa. Thanks for stopping by LumberJillville. Women's wrestling lives here. Make sure to hit subscribe to become an official resident of LJV and get a first look at all future women's wrestling figure reviews. Also, head on over to ringsidecollectibles.com and use coupon code LJV at checkout to save 10% on your next order of women's wrestling figures. Now, I do apologize, there hasn't been too many reviews the last week or so. I was really sick, but I'm bouncing back, and I'm glad that I was able to get this video out for y'all in time for Christmas. Now, have a happy holidays, whatever you celebrate, and just know, Mayor Aaron loves you. Have a great night, y'all, and thanks for watching.